Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Deeper, Day 3, going through the 23rd Psalm. So far we've covered verses 1 and 2. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He leads me in... No, that's verse 4.
Don't do it yet, because I have to. We're talking about verse 3 today.
Verse 3. I'm not doing verse 4. Verse 3.
Verse 3.
So what's verse 3?
He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. So, serious question: do you ever feel pushed to the max? Yes or no?
Sometimes I feel like I'm being pushed to the max.
Yeah, where we have so many things running through our mind and so many things to take care of, so many things to do, and you feel like you're just pushing and pushing and pushing. It feels like you'll never stop and never catch a break. And maybe you feel like you're juggling so many balls right now, and people keep trying to give you more, and you know eventually it'll be too much and that everything will just crash to the ground.
Or worse yet, you just want to go numb emotionally, and then you start doing comfort eating or binge watching stuff on TV, or getting out of the good habits like focusing on Jesus, like we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, and I've been there. I've been there where it feels so busy that it just feels like you can't do enough. And in those seasons, I had to learn where our true rest comes from. He restores my soul. And how awesome is that God, when God restores our soul, the broken pieces and the broken depths of our soul are healed and just made one with God. And what restores us is that we receive His own life, His heavenly life. Another version of the He restores my soul is He renews my strength. And I love that part because God fills us with His strength, and He empowers us to do the things that we can't do on our own. So as a result of receiving that restoration in your soul and having that rest, deep down rest, where you're perfectly at peace, that is when we can do what comes next. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. So as a result of Jesus filling us with rest and giving us the perfect peace, is that you naturally start to walk along the path of righteousness and bring glory to God as just a natural expression of your renewed inner nature. When Jesus renews us inside, our actions become renewed on the outside. I think one of the mistakes that we Christians can tend to make is that we tend to focus on our behavior first, because we have this list of commands that we have to follow. Do not lie, do not cheat, do not lust, and we try to fix all these things on the outside without being renewed inwardly first. And without being renewed inwardly first, it just looks like striving. And we will always crash and burn. We can never do that on our own strength and our own power. We can never rise up to that or live up to that.
And Jesus teaches, first clean the inside of the cup.
Yeah. Jesus was always so focused on the heart of people. And He said what's going on inside is more important than what's going on the outside. And so when you change the inside, the outside will follow. So to walk a right path in life, first you have to spend time with the shepherd, letting Him fill you and satisfy you and refresh you and renew you and restore you. The inner work that God does in our life is what's going to change us on the outside.
That inner work is so important.
Yeah. So if you've watched the past few Daily Deepers, by now you might have noticed the repetition and the pattern. The pattern in this chapter is that the abundant life, the life without lack, the life that it is described in verse 1 where He says, I have all that I need. That kind of life only happens when we receive the life that Jesus gives us, letting Him do the work to refresh our souls and to provide for all we need and to fill us until we're overflowing.
It's because the abundant life is Jesus Himself. It's not like a third-party item or something that's an item that I can possess without him. It's him himself.
Yeah, he fills us with himself. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So the Christian life is less about being good or doing good, and it's more about being good at receiving. Getting good at receiving Jesus.
Yeah.
So to end, I wanted to read Ephesians 3:16 through 20, and I wanted to read it in the Passion Translation.
Oh, I love those verses.
Yeah. And I love it in the Passion Translation because it just illustrates so well what we're talking about. It kind of says it in a new way, so it's not boring.
I love it in every translation.
That's true. So Paul writes, "And I pray that God would unveil within you the unlimited riches of his glory and favor until supernatural strength floods your innermost being with his divine might and explosive power. Then, by constantly using your faith, the life of Christ will be released deep inside you, and the resting place of his love will become the very source and root of your life. Then you will be empowered to discover what every Holy One experiences, the great magnitude of the astonishing love of Christ in all its dimensions. How deeply intimate and far-reaching is his love, how enduring and inclusive it is. Endless love beyond measurement that transcends our understanding. This extravagant love pours into you until you are filled to overflowing with the fullness of God." God's fullness inside of you. And that is what sustains us.
Wow.
So good.
So I love those verses every time.
So that power, that love, it's all available for you guys. It's all available today. And we just have to tap into it. And all that looks like is just us receiving it. And so may the Lord energize you today. May he fill you with his power, and may he fill you until you are overflowing. And may he bless you with the joy of his presence and provide for all you need.